YouTube, my name is Joanna and welcome back to Can They Be DLC Season 3 Episode 17, and we are here finally at basically the end of the series. Not really the end of the series, there's going to be one more episode coming next week, or technically speaking this week. This video is delayed once again, this time just on poor timing really. I worked all day today. Now I normally record these on Saturdays or Sundays. I was gonna record it yesterday, but yesterday I was sick, and yeah, and today it's late at night when I'm recording. This is like 10 p.m. 10:30 p.m. almost my time, so I couldn't record it earlier, so apologize for that. But basically this is coming out at the end of the year. Basically tomorrow is the end of the year, so for everybody out there, Happy New Year, or have a good 2020. We cannot really say Happy New Year because the New Year hasn't happened yet. But we're here finally at basically the finale of the series. Finale will happen next, obviously on Sunday, hopefully, if I don't F it up. It will happen on Sunday with everybody getting revisited once again, but hopefully, unless I F it up, and hopefully I won't F it up, it will be a tier list of all the characters spoken of in this series. So yeah, let's get on to the video. First, let's talk about the topic of the news, like every other week or every week. First piece of news that comes from this week, and basically the only big piece of news that comes from this week I should say, is the fact that we are in fact getting, or we are not getting, Xenosaga HD. It was confirmed by Harada on Twitter that the game won't be made, that it didn't pass the markability or profit margins in the research. In a way, I understand why, and in another way, I still don't understand why it couldn't be made, but I understand why. I understand why it couldn't be made because obviously this market research was done with, I think, everybody involved, right? With Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and Steam being the systems they would release on. Well, I'm assuming Nintendo. You never know with some companies when it comes to some of their franchises, especially Namco. Looking at you, Tales of Arise, a game that for some reason is not coming to the Switch, or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because I don't know, apparently Dragon Ball games don't sell well on Switch, apart from the fact that they did, and apart from the fact that, you know, Tales of Vesperia, was it Vesperia? That came out on PS4 and Switch, sold the best on Switch worldwide, and was supply constrained in Japan, which stopped it from beating the PS4 version. But what do I know? I'm just a guy talking on the internet. Obviously, and the guys at the offices at big corporations know better. That's why the Japanese gaming market is a shambolic state, with one company basically taking 70 or 80 or 90% of the market with their games away. But I know. Anyway, he says not possible, doesn't make much money. Well, here's the thing. I would argue that the game could be made. I think the reason why it wouldn't be made is because it would be the trilogy, all the episodes in HD. As you know, the game looks, somebody did, there's on YouTube, somebody made a walkthrough of the game with, in 4K, so it was up-resed, but there was still a lot of, like, the game still showed a little bit of, like, texture-wise and animation-wise and model-wise wasn't too good. Obviously, a product of its time, obviously would require some work, but at the same time I could see it being done still in one game. I don't think the three of them combined could work. It's not like Crash Bandicoot, where the games were popular enough back in the day that could be remade into a trilogy and sell millions upon millions and get the money back, and make much more money, unlike Xenosaga, which never touched the 1 million mark. Another thing probably wouldn't help was the fact that the game would have to be Switch exclusive if Arada had his way and Monolith Soft was somehow involved, and Monolith is owned by Nintendo, which would mean Nintendo Switch exclusive. And also comes from the fact that Harada kind of is an idiot when it comes to JRPGs, because in an interview, it was an interview when it was, or a conversation with Takahashi. I know I have it. It's the main guy behind Xenoblade. Let me just get the name of the guy before I do. Chronicles 2 was the director or producer. I know the name, the guy that was Never talks about whenever his wife would tweet something. I forget his name now and I'm really embarrassed. It's not showing up here. It's... where's the name? Okay, so let me just put Xenoblade Chronicles. Instead of 2. It's not called Kojima. I know the name of the guy now. I'm missing. The head of Monolith. They did a thing together, and he said that the only way for a JRPG to be successful nowadays is to cross the 1 million mark would be with fancy graphics, and it's Takahashi or Takeshi. I forget the name now. It's really annoying me right now. That would result, that could do it, and Takeshi was like, no, Xenoblade Chronicles did 1.7 million, I don't know what you're on about, it's pretty anime, it's not realistic, and it's not even going into Dragon Quest or anything, or one tiny little JRPG called Pokemon, but you know, that doesn't count because it's Pokemon somehow, it's always dumb when it comes to that. But anyway, I still think it could be made, if they remade one episode and released it, or if they went to Nintendo and like worked something out. But they're not doing that, so it's not profitable, because of course if it's the 3 games in one, it was never going to be profitable. You're not going to remake 3 huge JRPG games, put them in one game and expect to sell and make your money back. It's no way in hell, especially a game from almost 20 years ago. That's going to require some work. You're insane if you think that. And the games that didn't sell 1 million. Anyway, let's get to the topic of this video, which is basically old Rare. It's a Rare blowout with Joanna Dark, Killer Instinct, or Perfect Dark I should say, but Joanna Dark the character, Killer Instinct characters, and Battletoads, and how likely they are for DLC. In a different timeline, we're not talking how likely they are going to be for DLC. Some of them probably would have already been in the game. I would argue that maybe the first fighting game character to make it into Smash would have still been in Smash 4, and probably would have been a Killer Instinct character. I probably could see the Battletoads already have been. Probably Battletoads and Banjo-Kazooie could have made it into Brawl, maybe, or maybe into Smash 4, maybe into Ultimate. I think they would have. Maybe Joanna Dark as well. But now, obviously, we live in a time where we live in this timeline where Rare went to Microsoft and they're owned by Microsoft, and Nintendo didn't get those. Nintendo should have at the least, I still think, in the 2000s when the transaction was made, they still made a dumb mistake of not buying the IPs at the very least. Hey, if Banjo-Kazooie and everything is going to be dormant, at least they will be dormant with Nintendo, so they could be at least used for Smash, which would have been something at the very least. But you know, that's what you're going to do about it. But still, how likely are they all to be DLC? Well, I have to look again at 2 different points, and also that's what we're going to be doing at the tier list. Every character will be ranked two different times. But anyway, we have to look at them as character 5 and character 1, or character or DLC 2, or season 2. First is the fact that for 5, I don't think so. At this point, I mean, any of them could realistically be 5. I've said before that I think that if there was going to be a company to get 2 DLC slots in the Fighters Pass, it would be Microsoft. But then again, I always saw it as DLC with Master Chief coming and Halo coming to Switch. That's not happening. Well, that is supposedly happening, but it isn't something that we have seen yet, or that is approaching. Not that we haven't seen yet. It's not, Halo is not, we haven't seen yet, and the Game Awards would have been perfect to announce it, especially given the shit show that the Game Awards was. An announcement of Halo and Master Chief coming to Switch and Smash would have been perfect. But now maybe it will happen in January. That's the other thing. Maybe next season, not next season, the final of the Can They Be DLC series comes out when we have already a Direct and Character 5 announced. Because the next episode should come out on the 6th, and actually I have to turn my calendar around because for whatever reason, one of the calendar that I have has 2 2020s, and one of them, for some reason, January 1st is on Friday, even though it's on on a Wednesday. I mean, and it will be the 5th, and we could be getting a Direct on the 3rd. Probably we could. I don't think it will be. Probably will be the 9th. But without Master Chief and Halo, I doubt that we're going to be seeing another Microsoft character for Smash. Now the other guy for post Fighter Spec DLC, can they? I mean, the door is open now for Microsoft, and I wouldn't be surprised if Season 2 and the next Smash game actually has more Western characters. And looking back, I can now see, although I was a person that firmly believed Doomslayer was character 5, I no longer do. I believe he could be DLC down the line, or character. I no longer think he will be character 5, and same could be said, technically speaking, for Master Chief. But looking back and looking specifically at the Banjo-Kazooie presentation, I now think that although Sakurai is very much about bringing in the Japanese games into Smash, I could definitely see him now be more open-minded about bringing Western franchises. And the reason why I say that is looking back at that character review, he was very iffy about working with Grant Kirkhope about the music and the songs, like getting his point across and his message to what he wanted to the songs. And the same thing I think happened with Toby Fox because of the language barrier. And having those, technically speaking, being crossed, I could see it now going into the second season and being more open-minded, or not open-minded, but more open to the idea of Western characters, of the Doomslayers, of the Master Chiefs, of maybe the Joanna Darks and Battletoads. But looking at these 3 specific franchises: Perfect Dark with Joanna Dark, Battletoads with Wild Battletoads, and Killer Instinct, which could be anyone, but I'll probably talk it better about it on the tier list. Who would be the most likely one to get a DLC fighter? I would argue Battletoads. I'm confident in saying that I wouldn't be shocked if the next Nintendo Direct comes out and Battletoads gets announced for Switch. I'm not expecting, it's a thing that okay, I'm not 100% expecting it to happen at launch or anything, but it's something I could see happening. It's something that I actually expect. I expect some Microsoft games to make their way over to Switch, the same way they're making their way over to Steam, because Microsoft doesn't see them as competitors and much more of markets that we can explore. That's why I'm firmly in the camp that believes that Halo is coming out on Switch, and that will work its way into marketing for the Series X, which is still a dumb name. That comes out later. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, you guys on PC and on Switch, you've been enjoying Halo Reach or whatever have you that you launch on Switch. You've been enjoying them, or whatever other games you launch on PC. You've been enjoying it. Do you guys want to play the newest Halo? Hey, it's on our brand new shiny system. So, you know, it's a thing, it's a way they're going to be trying to make money. They already started to basically doing that with the PC launch. I could see it happening with Switch launch early next year. If it's another March game, March is going to be insane, but I think it's going to be like April or something. Or even February. We have nothing for February. Or even a Shadow Drop. Who knows? But of the 3, yeah, Battletoads would be it. The more well-known of the 3, I would wager the most well-known of the 3 because of how crazy difficult the first game was. Killer Instinct, I would say, would be the second one. And Killer Instinct, I said early, it would have been the franchise I think that would have been the first true or traditional 2D fighter to make it into Smash. Mostly comes down to the fact that if it was a Nintendo-owned property, it was something that already was there. I could see Sakurai very well going for it and keeping the tradition or not keeping the tradition, but going with it. Like, it's already here, we own it, it's ours, it's easier to do, we don't have to go into conflict with anybody or talk to somebody. It's already there, it's made there, we can do it. I could see it happening. And also I think that maybe would have gotten more Killer Instinct games outside of 2013. Then Perfect Dark kind of falls into the final one. Perfect Dark is a character, or Joanna Dark is a character that is above the rest when it comes to rare IPs. I'm not discussing Viva Pinata because I don't even think they have characters or mascots. But with Banjo-Kazooie out of the way, Rare doesn't have too many well-known franchises or characters that people know about. And, you know, people know Banjo, but it already is in. You have Killer Instinct, Battletoads, Perfect Dark, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker could be it, actually. Now that I think about it, actually, Conker could be in, but I don't think he would. And mostly because some of the things you need to... I mean, could you? That would be pretty fun if Conquer came in and the Great Mighty Pooh was a boss battle. Actually, yeah, before then, but way in the past I would say like no because of the swearing, but hey, the Microsoft was already censored the game, so yeah, Conquer could be in actually. But then again, did it sell? I don't think it sold as well as the other ones. It's more known because of the ridiculousness of the game more than the game itself. You know, more than the how much it sold. But anyway, okay, so let's rank these now, including Conquer, in how could they be and how likely they would be. All of them, honestly, not that likely unless something, I mean, not that likely if after Chief, I think after Master Chief they're likely. But before then I don't think so. Also, if there is a possibility for Master Chief. Technically speaking, Master Chief could already be in the game in Smash because of the costume. The costume for in Minecraft, so I don't know. But yeah, it's here and there. So let's get on to the comments from the Jibanya, I don't know how to say his name. So we only have one, unfortunately, but it's still a good one. Terry ends the year off, basically. I don't know, I'm not gonna say ends the year off, because if you comment tomorrow, I think he had a perfect streak. I think he only missed one episode, so thanks a lot, dude. True champion there on commenting on these videos. So let's start off with, you're right about Zack being the person who originally wielded the Buster Sword. I like it when I'm right. Doesn't happen often, but I like it. Disney has already said that they would be okay with Sora being in Smash Ultimate as long as fans want it. There's high demand for Sora to be in Smash, and also Nomura has to be fine with it. Regards to Jibanya getting in, I could only be him being either a Mii Brawler costume or a spirit along with other yokai spirits. If they even add yokai spirits, I'm doubtful we'll get any level 5 characters except for maybe as Mii costumes or spirits. In regards to other rare characters, I think they will just be spirits along. Although I could see, could see some of them being Mii costumes, but I think if we were going to get rare characters as Mii costumes, we would have gotten them along with Banjo-Kazooie. True, but then again, what costumes did we get with Banjo-Kazooie? Banjo-Kazooie was the first... Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is the only one we didn't get Mii costumes of franchises outside of franchises or characters involving Banjo or Microsoft, which was rare, if you want to put rare, which was weird. I guess Microsoft was okay with Banjo but not okay with anybody else. Seems weird still. But then again, I don't know, it's a weird one. But we have to wait and see, I guess, on that. With Jibanya, yeah, I think they could be in Jibanya and other yokais and level 5. When level 5 unfortunately goes belly up, which, I mean, they're nowadays, like the last game they announced was on Twitter. It was just the guy, the president, I think his name, Ino, I know his name is Ino, but I'm pretty sure he's just the president of level 5. Just tweeted out the announcement of a brand new Yokai Watch game and like, thank you, I guess. And nobody knows what the platforms, he didn't say what platforms were. Honestly, I think it's mobile because it seems like a mobile game from the screenshot that I saw. But if it's Yokai Watch just for PS4 would be really funny, because it, again, Japanese market went all in on PS4 and the Japanese market is in dire situation when it comes to third parties doing well or games doing well outside of, Nintendo, basically. Again, love always being right about something, but then again, I was only right because people told me that, so yeah. Also with the Disney thing, here's the thing, Disney didn't say they were okay with it. As far as I can remember, it was one dude from Japan, and it could have been the president of Disney Japan, unless the president of Disney Japan is one of the right-hand people right next to Bob Iger, or Iger, and it wouldn't really matter in my opinion, because it's like Microsoft and Banjo. Phil Spencer was the head of Microsoft, or not head of Microsoft, the head of Xbox in 2014, and he said he was okay with Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash, but why didn't it happen until recently? Well, because although he was a higher up in the company, he wasn't a part of the people that were right there next to the man in chief, let's put it that way, to the president. of the company, the CEO of the company, and it really didn't matter what he said. The same thing could be here. Like, it's a guy from Japan saying it. It could have been the president, or it was the executive vice president of something, and I don't know. Again, and here's the great example. Here's the thing. Even if they were okay with it, there's a lot of shit that goes down in negotiations that would just make the game not happen. For example, this was something that I learned this week, I think. Was that this week or last week? Well, I don't remember what it was. When it was a good day for me that day. One I forget the day what it was, but one of the day I found this out was a good day for me. Was being a good day, well, good morning, until I watched a video about The Simpsons Hit and Run. Hit and Run, when I was growing up, was was my shit, dude. Was one of the games I played the most growing up. And then I watched this video. Me and my brother loved that game. I watched that video, and it immediately was like, oh, god damn it. Because The Simpsons Hit and Run game was a phenomenal game, loved by critics and fans, sold well, and the sequel never happened. Despite the fact that the sequel was planned for, was in pre-production for a while, and Fox wanted to do it alongside the team because the team was going for it, but negotiations still fell through eventually. And that's the thing. We might think everything is there, but at one point one thing might happen, or somebody in the chain of command or in some of the places could make so that the things fall through. For example, obviously I'm not saying this is what's gonna happen, but I saw one video today. I didn't see the entirety of the video, because I'm like, this is too stupid to even acknowledge as a possibility. It was Disney buying the Pokemon franchise because they want to rule the world. And obviously they wouldn't be able to do it, because just because you have the money to do it doesn't mean you will be able to do it. Case in point, Disney tried to buy Sony, failed in 2014 and 2016. I believe that was the time period they tried to buy it. They failed. And the example was they want to rule of the world. They already own most of the franchises in the top 10 biggest franchises of all time, but they don't own the biggest, which is Pokemon. And Pokemon is evaluated at $95 billion. And they're like, well, Disney would go for it. If they want to dominate the world, they would go for it. And what was it? They already own so many of the franchises in the top 20, on the top 10. You could see it happening, going for one more. And obviously in the comments, a lot of people were saying that they would not allow it, or something like that. Here's the thing. Let's assume for a second that the negotiations for Sora were going. It's still in the open. Again, we don't know. Again, there's a lot of factors going into the negotiations. Overall budget for the entire pass. I'll be honest. If Nintendo gave Sakurai a 20 million budget and 18 million were spent on Sora, I would have been like, that's a pretty disappointing pass just for one stupid character. I mean, it doesn't matter which character it was. It could be my favorite character of all time. 18 million, it depends. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. We don't know the demand, but hey, you never know. But let's say negotiations are going well, better than expected on every account. And then, Disney's like, oh, by the way, we want to buy a Pokemon. That could create an hostility there, and Nintendo's like, oh, no, fuck you. Not only fuck you, you're not getting Sora. Negotiations fall through. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Hopefully, because then Disney would obviously, if they can't buy Pokemon, they would try to buy Nintendo. Which, to be completely honest, if Pokemon is $95 billion, I'm pretty sure the buying of Nintendo would be far greater than that. And I'm pretty sure the Japanese market or Japanese government could still say no. Obviously, I'm not saying that's 100% going to happen. I'm just giving an example. Negotiations, even if everybody was like, let's do it. Let's do Sora. Let's get Sora into Smash. Something could go wrong, and I don't know. With Sora is a weird one. I don't particularly. The only thing I care about Sora is that I hope he's not in because of the fan base. That's basically it. It's the same feeling I had with Resident Evil. Although I wanted Resident Evil in Smash as a playable character, I kind of got a grin on my face, and I loved seeing some of the reactions after it was announced that there would have been not characters in Smash. Not because I didn't want it, but because some people in the franchise, in the fan base, were really annoying with 100% guaranteed in as DLC, and then and then not only 100% in, 100% with Jill. It wasn't even 100% with any other character, it was with Jill, and I'm like, how did that pan out? I love to see some of those reactions, although it was sad that the characters didn't get in. It was still funny to see some people, and well, some men just want to watch the world burn, and when it comes to certain characters, I would love to see the world burn. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been the Legend of the Astronomy again next time as we go for the tier list. I don't know if it will happen this week or next week. I might start live streaming. I don't know. I've been saying that for a while, but I now have better internet, and now all I have to do is buy one specific thing for my PC to have even better internet, or to be better connected to the internet. So maybe that will happen this coming week with Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield, I should say, a Nuzlocke of it. Maybe that's how I'll play Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I don't know. Hopefully we'll be getting a Nintendo Direct either on, let me just flip this, see, either on the 3rd or the 8th, well 9th of January, but the 9th will be after the video, the tier list. Hopefully I don't fuck that one up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next year. So, happy holidays. Well, holidays I mostly go through, but have a great 2020. I'll see you guys next time.